Hey guys, today I am excited to share with you an essay or a topic that I wrote about called How to Tame a Dragon. And this is for those of you who have listened before to my episodes that I did specifically on borderline personality disorder. About a year ago, I think I did those. They're pretty lengthy. I did two. One is called Everything You Need to Know About Borderline Personality Disorder. And the second is for people who suspect they have a parent with BPD. And I wanted to come back to that topic. It's a very, very solicited topic because most of us do have at least one person with severe BPD in their life. And I wanted to circle back because I think I really gave the impression in those episodes that all we can do is cut them out of our lives. And that's actually not the case. And it's not even possible for a lot of us. So we go to work and we work with people who we suspect have BPD. We might have a family member we can't completely have a hard and fast boundary with. So let's talk about how we can work with people who have BPD and still remain healthy and sane. And that is why I have titled this How to Tame a Dragon. So before we talk about the practical, I want to share with you an anecdote from my life. So when I was in college, I lived in the country for a period of time and I would go running, and out in the country, the dogs, a lot of them are not fenced in. And so I would get dogs running after me, barking, and it was pretty scary. And one time, the first time, I'll never forget, it was this big German Shepherd who was following me and barking at me. And as scared as I was, there was a part of me that was just like, let's see what happens if I turn around and run at the dog. And that's what I did. And you know what happened? That dog actually started running away from me and yelping. And it was pretty cool. And so I kept running. And that happened every single time that I ran in the country where a dog would follow me, which was pretty much every single time. And even today, goodness, 30 years later, I still find myself doing that with the occasional dog on my run who is unleashed and who starts following me and barking at me. So, what I want you to take away from that is that knowledge is our greatest weapon. So let's get savvy about people who are severe on the BPD, borderline personality disorder spectrum. And again, it is a spectrum. I myself am on that spectrum, as many, many of us are. But if we're on the lower end of the spectrum, we can work with that. People who are high on the spectrum make life very, very unnecessarily difficult for others and are almost impossible to really relate to and get along with in a healthy way. So, the first thing I want you to know today is that BPDs are filled with shame. And I see shame as synonymous with self contempt. I really do. So, they received that self contempt or that shame from their experience of their early attachment figure in early childhood. And they felt despised by that person. It could be just from the lack of eye contact or the lack of smile, the lack of looking pleased with that child. That just communicates to a baby, to a toddler, that they are despised. And so BPDs will actually feel despised by others because they project that onto others unconsciously, especially people who don't make a lot of eye contact with them and who don't smile at them. They will feel despised. If we look at our phones and not at them, they will feel despised. So these are things that they often deal with that we need to know about because that gives us vital intel. They're always reading others, reading into what they say, what they do, what they don't say, what they don't do. And they're reading to see if we love them or hate them. Because for a BPD, there's no neutrality and there's no spectrum in between. It's very polarized, love or hate. And so if we don't initiate eye contact with them and smile at them, they will feel like we hate them. If we're looking at our phone, they can easily feel despised by us. If we have a life outside of them, like if they are a family member and we are happy, they will feel abandoned by us. if other people like you, that they often feel like those other people must not like them. It's kind of a zero-sum game perspective to have. And again, it's very polarized. It's very black and white. Everything is just kind of black and white in this way, very childish, actually. And BPDs will often feel paranoid because of this. They'll feel easily threatened. Like if someone likes you, then those people must not like them. They must be hated, actually, by those same people. So it's this paranoid perspective, again, zero-sum game. You can't be pretty and I'm pretty. It's either or. We can't both be pretty. You're popular or I'm popular. We can't both be well liked. It's that kind of thinking. So BPDs are most famous, and we talked about this in my previous podcast episodes. They're most famous for what we call the turn, where they suddenly turn on us in an effort to feel powerful at our expense. It might be throwing us under the bus. It might be making us feel invalidated, but it is ultimately an act to dominate, to be more powerful. And it is done through the weaponization of shame. They use shame as their weapon, and they will deflect their own shame onto us. So just knowing all this is really part of our first defense strategy. So what we need to know is that BPDs are consistently inconsistent. They will turn, and they can turn at any time. And if we expect that and expect the unexpected, that gives us power. That gives us strategy, and we know better. Okay. So the shame that they are deflecting on us, we need to realize actually stems from deep inside of them. They are deflecting their own feelings of shame onto us. And this is called shame dumping. People with a lot of shame don't want to feel it. It is intolerable. And so they dump it onto others in an attempt to not have to feel their own shame. So this is one of their soft underbelly of the dragon spots. You need to see this, because when we mirror them, when they do that, when we become a mirror to them and reflect what they're doing and hold them accountable in the moment, they can't tolerate that because they're feeling shame from being held accountable, from looking in the true reflection of the mirror that we're giving them. And so we can do that, and we need to do that, because you know what is cool about a mirror? A mirror is an impermeable surface. And so it keeps that shame from being absorbed, from penetrating onto us when we're a mirror. And that's what we need to do for ourselves, and we need to do it for them. So once we do this, once we mirror them, and an example of this is just if they shame dump, we can just look at them and smile and say, you know, Carrie, we both know that's actually not true. So that's an example of me being a mirror. It's simply that, nothing more. And now Carrie is going to feel shame because I'm not obviously taking in the shame that she's trying to dump onto me, and I'm holding her accountable. I'm saying we both know that's not true. And so now Carrie is not going to take another risk with me because she knows what to expect. And she knows that I'm not going to take in the shame that she's dumping on me. And she's getting a little taste of her own medicine because I'm mirroring that shame back to her. And she doesn't want to feel that ever again. So what I'm doing, going back to the dog story that I shared earlier, is I'm kind of establishing myself as the alpha. So just like when I was running in the country and the dog was running at me, he was trying to say, I'm the aggressor, you should be intimidated. And I turned it on him and I said, you know what? I'm actually the alpha, buddy. And it works. It works. And that's what we need to do. So I want to give you a real life example. A lot of dogs in today's episode, I guess. So about a year ago, I took my dog Dinah, who was at the end of life, to a vet. And I just wanted a professional confirmation that it was indeed time for her to be put down so I could just feel better. And I went in, and the vet comes into the room. She does not look at me. She does not introduce herself like the vet tech did. And apparently she did not listen to a thing that the vet tech told her, because the vet tech came in earlier and wrote down why I was there. And we spent about 10 minutes. And then when this vet comes in, she says, yeah, what are you wanting me to do? So yeah. Anyway, she barely glances at my dog, Dinah. I mean, barely looks at her. And so I tell her, I said, well, she's not sleeping. She looks like she's in a lot of pain. I'm seeing a lot of muscle loss, and I'm having to, pick up poop all the time in the house now. She's regressing. And I was really genuine. And I said, I don't want to spend, her last weeks of life with me resenting her, because I'm having to care for her so much. Well, the vet just didn't like this comment, or she saw it as an opportunity to shame dump on me. So she said to me, well, if you just took care of her and groomed her and washed her, there would be no problem. Okay, that was not remotely true. So what I did is I became a mirror, and I said, I'm hearing a lot of judgment and insinuation that I am not properly caring for my dog, and I really resent that. So that's what I did. And the vet did not look at me or apologize, but she flipped in the best way possible. And she started looking at Dinah, and she actually said, I am seeing a lot of muscle wasting, and she does look like she's in a lot of pain, and she's really old. I think it's time to put her down. So I got what I paid for, and I got why I came, and it was a win-win. So that's an example of being a mirror. So when we do that, we can just use words like I did, like I'm hearing, I'm noticing, I'm seeing, and that's how we're a mirror. I'm seeing that you don't look happy with me right now, and you want me to feel responsible for your feelings. I'm noticing that you didn't even look at my dog, and now you're having these very harsh judgments on me. So we can use those terms to be that mirror. Third, know that one of the other vulnerabilities of a BPD is praise. They live to be fed on their narcissistic supply. They live for this. They need praise, and they need positive recognition more than the rest of us. And, we all like that, but they really, really need it. This is where you have leverage, because if you recall, BPDs either see people as all good or all bad. And so when we give them some positive recognition, we fall into the all good slot. And we want to do this for ourselves if we have to work with them, for example. Now, we can do this without being dishonest and without betraying ourselves. We can just notice real things that we do appreciate and reflect those back to them, or we can compliment them on their clothing or their hair or what have you. We can smile at them. We can show concern about them. That makes them feel seen and recognized. That's important. And we can listen to them. If they start to talk at us instead of with us, which they often do, we can say things like, I wish I had more time, because what you're saying really is important, but I need to get going. Okay, so we're just very delicate with them. So as one of my own clients concluded, she found that the only way to deal with her ex-husband was to kill him with kindness. And when she did that, she was able to finally get the just financial settlement for herself in their divorce, but also her ex-husband felt a lot less rejected by her, because she was the one initiating the divorce. So it was a win-win, because he actually felt much better about himself through her killing him with kindness. It is a win-win. Okay, another vulnerability BPDs have is of feeling abandoned. Most BPDs will do just about anything to not be alone with their thoughts, alone with their feelings. They don't enjoy their own company. They don't want to feel their own feelings because they're very painful. and they don't want to be alone with their own thoughts. So knowing this is really important for you. Knowing if you have a BPD in your life that won't respond to any of the above suggestions, and it's still really, really hard for you, know your leverage. Know that they need you more than you need them. Now, they are aware of this. They're very aware of this, but you're probably not. And now that you are, you know, another lever that you have is to just threaten, I guess I don't want to, come visit you again. I guess I'm not going to be in your life then. Whatever it is, as long as you're being honest and you're going to make good on that if they don't respond well. But that is one of your tools in your tool belt. That's the biggest one, is to actually tell them, like, I don't need to stay in your life. And I'm only doing this, and I'm only going to do it if you treat me with respect. So that is really important. So those are some things that I just wanted to add. I still work, every single client that I have has at least one BPD, one severe BPD in their lives. And I've kind of just realized we can't all cut them out. Now, if you can cut one out, that it might be exactly what you need to do. I myself have done that with my father. But then there's other people that maybe you work with, or you're not ready to do that. So there's other ways to go about this. There's a lot of ways to slay a dragon or to tame a dragon, either one. So thanks for listening today. I hope this is really encouraging for you. And if you want to, please feel free to go back and listen to the original borderline personality disorder episodes I have. There's 2. They're pretty lengthy, and they go much more into detail with how it is to be an adult child of a BPD, as well as just how BPDs are in general. So thanks for listening today, and feel free to subscribe or share this with a friend and give me a review. Thank you.